Start from Strength. 5 Secrets to Building Generational Wealth with Real Estate Investing. Written by Andy Wen. Narrated by Paul Metcalf. Free bonus. Download the 10 Things to Consider checklist at moneytalkswithandy.com/checklist. Start from Strength. 5 Secrets to Building Generational Wealth with Real Estate Investing by Andy Wen. Copyright 2021. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, or otherwise, without the express written permission of the author. The material in this publication is provided for information purposes only. Laws, regulations, and procedures are constantly changing, and the examples given are intended to be for general guidance only. The book is sold with the understanding that neither the author nor the publisher is engaged in rendering professional advice. It is strongly recommended that legal, accounting, tax, financial, insurance, and other assistance be obtained before acting on any information contained in this book. If such advice or other assistance is required, the personal services of a competent professional should be sought. The author, publisher, and all others directly or indirectly involved with this publication do not assume any responsibility or liability, direct or indirect, to any party for any loss or damage due to errors or omissions, regardless of cause, as a consequence of using this publication, nor accept any contractual, tortuous, or other form of liability for its contents, or any consequences arising from its use. Any trademarks, service marks, product names, and named features are assumed to be the property of their respective owners and are used only for reference. No endorsement is implied when one of these terms is used. To every investor starting out, believe in yourself, and you will achieve greatness. Have you given up? Too young? Too busy? Too old? There's always an excuse as to why you can't start investing in rental property, regardless of your age. My aim with this short book is to open your mind to the notion that anyone, at any age, can begin their journey with rental property investing. In addition, if you get this right, you'll be in a position to financially help the other generations of your loved ones, children, parents, grandparents. No matter what station in life you're currently in, you have skills, experience, and knowledge that you can exploit to your advantage. Leverage your strengths. Naturally, all investors should conduct their due diligence before investing in anything. Some might say this is simply common sense or somewhat of a universal truth. However, it wouldn't be the first time that some investors, myself included, make foolish mistakes, and where common sense wasn't so common at the time. Here are some common sense tips and universal truths that need to be part of any investor's toolkit. Always conduct due diligence before investing in anything. Be constantly learning and educating yourself. Network with others. Get a team of trusted, qualified, experienced professionals, coaches, or mentors. That last point always gets me fired up. Indeed, it goes without saying that you should always consult qualified professionals to ensure that you're getting the appropriate advice on what you're seeking to accomplish. It amazes me how often people take advice from random strangers, neighbours, or family members who have little to no experience in real estate investing. Would you ask a plumber for financial advice? Would you ask Warren Buffett, incredibly successful long-term investor, for medical advice? Do yourself a favour and don't listen to anyone who hasn't got the right experience, knowledge, or qualifications. As part of the due diligence process concerning investing in rental properties, there are 5 secrets that you absolutely need to have, in my opinion. Without these 5 secrets, my real estate investing journey would have been a much harder one, or possibly even short-lived. By the way, if you're looking for that silver bullet to bring you financial freedom overnight, then this book isn't for you, and that's okay. I wish you all the best in your endeavours. However, if you're willing to stay the course, you can carve out great financial power through one of the most passive income streams around. To top it off, your success will change the lives of others. Gift of Vitality, age 18 to 30. Let me set the scene and introduce you to Dave. Dave is a young man of 21 and has recently joined the workforce, landing an average-paying job. Dave doesn't have much saved up yet, but he doesn't intend to work in this job for the rest of his life. Dave is determined to create financial freedom for himself, to live on his terms, and not rely on his job for financial security. Dave understands that if someone else controls your income, they also control your life. If you're like Dave, you may have limited capital to invest. However, you're willing to devote time in the evenings and weekends to developing your knowledge and experience for all things relating to rental property investing. Here are some areas to focus on. Save up, be frugal. Joint venture or partner up with potential investors who may be interested in providing capital for rental properties. You'll need to bring the expertise. Always keep some cash aside for emergencies and do not overextend yourself, especially financially. Consider self-managing your rental properties initially if you cannot afford to hire property management. Alternatively, budget for property management expenses when performing your due diligence. Get some side hustles or businesses to generate additional income to raise capital to invest in rental properties. Consider working in the real estate industry in some capacity. Start from strength. You have an advantage when it comes to the most current technology and friends. With the internet and social media, practically everything you need to know about investing in real estate is available online, and it's usually for free too. You also understand the latest trends regarding tenant demands, like what tenants might be looking for, what locations are trendy or are no longer fashionable, the most current rental rates, etc., especially if any of your friends are renting. How can you leverage your strengths? Here's an example. You've recently joined the workforce and got a job as a delivery driver, and the hours are long and not fixed. In order to keep your expenses low and save up as much as you can, you share an apartment with a couple of people who work in different jobs and industries. You have time between deliveries to learn about real estate investing online and join social media groups to leverage the experience and information shared in these free groups. You begin chatting with your housemates and find out a lot about them, as well as where they used to rent or live, the conditions of those rental properties, the rates, locations, and more. This is information that you can use, as you know the rental rates, and in which areas, what tenants' expectations are, etc. Generational impact. People in this category who decide to take the brave step and invest in rental properties can help themselves and their parents or even grandparents with the excess cash flow and equity they build over time. Note, I started in this category many years ago. It was a lot of hard work, but I managed to get my rental property cash flowing. Although it did not immediately replace my employment income at the time, the extra cash every month was a huge help. Imagine having 50% of your income coming in passively from rental properties. Not enough to quit the day job, but enough to take the pressure off worrying about getting fired. I also chose to invest in rental properties to get a pension pot set up for my parents, as they had little to no pension at the time. More on this later on. Prime time, age 31 to 55. Meet married couple Monica and John. Monica is 35, has a full-time job with average pay. John is 37 and is a stay-at-home parent but occasionally picks up some work that brings in spare cash for the household. Monica and John are constantly tired and do their best to keep up with their 2 children. Monica and John have a mortgage on their home, a pot of savings and an emergency fund. Monica and John are keen to invest in rental properties to create a passive income stream to free up time and build long-term wealth. If you're like Monica and John, you may have savings as well as equity in your home. This could be a significant amount that can be used as a down payment for one or several rental properties. Life will no doubt be very hectic, having to juggle family and other responsibilities. Still, you'll need to devote some time to building this passive income empire with rental properties. Here are some areas to focus on. Subject to budget and time, consider hiring a property manager or management company to manage your rental property or properties. Depending on the age of your children, introduce them to real estate investing once you've established a small portfolio of investment properties. Emergency funds should never be touched, and make sure you have enough to safeguard your family in case an investment property doesn't work out. Start from strength. You have access to more than one income. Maximize this as best you can and practice being frugal wherever possible. This will enable you to build out more capital for down payments on investment properties, as well as a more significant emergency fund. Being parents, you'll be in touch with local market conditions, such as the location of good schools, hospitals, what amenities families look for, and more. Leverage your local area knowledge and combine it with your experience as working parents to find excellent rental properties and outstanding tenants. Here's an example of how you can leverage your professional workplace knowledge to your advantage. Imagine that you work as an administrator for a local college. You're aware of other colleges in the same or nearby area. You regularly see students looking for accommodation for the academic year. You're aware of the rental rates, the standard of rental property along with any appliances that students expect, and the potential for increased wear and tear this might have on a rental property with student tenants. All this points to high demand for student accommodation and probably above average maintenance costs that need consideration. Generational impact. People in this category have the busiest times of their lives, juggling multiple demands from work, family and personal challenges. Those who pursue the creation of passive income through rental property investments will result in enormous rewards later on. Their personal wealth will grow over time. The cash flow from these rental property assets can potentially replace or outpace their annual salary from their day jobs. Their children will benefit if these assets are passed down to them eventually, and they will be in a position to assist their elderly parents should the need arise financially. Note, although my circumstances aren't exactly like Monica's and John's, I'm now in this age group. One of my rental properties has gone up in value over time and has continued to provide cash flow on a regular basis. I'm in the fortunate position of being able to release equity to invest in rental properties, other businesses or investments. The potential for creating long-term wealth and passive cash flow income is undoubtedly possible for anyone. Golden Days. Age 56 plus. Retirees Wyatt and Jenny have been retired for a few years. Jenny is 60 and Wyatt is 65. Both receive a pension and have significant savings in the bank that makes minimal interest income. Wyatt and Jenny own the home they live in mortgage-free. Neither Wyatt nor Jenny works full or part-time. They use 50% of their pension income to cover all expenses and enjoy holidays a few times a year, funded by the remaining 50% of their pension income. They spend the rest of the year with Wyatt and Jenny's children and grandchildren through visits, weekends and short holidays. Wyatt and Jenny are disappointed that their cash in the bank isn't generating any income of significance. Wyatt and Jenny are painfully aware that inflation is slowly eroding the buying power of their savings. It's clear that Wyatt and Jenny have capital to invest in the form of cash savings and equity that they can access. If you're like Wyatt and Jenny, you have a good pot of savings ready to invest and have spare time to conduct your due diligence to understand precisely what is involved with rental property investing. Here are some areas to focus on. There should be a strong focus on capital preservation, and any investment, rental properties or otherwise, should not interfere with your retirement funds. So consider how much capital you're willing to commit to investing in rental properties for the medium to long term. You must always be prepared for market downturns or sluggish property value or rental prices. Consider taking advantage of leverage and invest in several rental properties from the start, and make sure you factor in the emergency fund. Joint venture or partner up with other investors where you provide the capital and are essentially a silent partner, sharing the profits. Consider hiring a property manager or management company to manage your rental properties on your behalf to free up your time and leverage their experience. Start from strength. You've got plenty of life experience, and this is something that many wish they had. You've also lived through multiple recessions and black swan economic events, so planning for the worst-case financial scenario should come easier to you. The combination of having capital as well as life experience will serve you well when assessing whether a rental property will be a good asset or liability to add to your wealth portfolio. Here's an example that's a little out there but showcases how you can use your love for travelling to your advantage. You've travelled a lot and visited many places around the world. You notice some locations have frequent return visitors, such as ski resorts or seaside-type areas. Some fellow travellers say that they return almost every year, and this is confirmed when you observe them speaking the local language, or even calling the waiter by name. You might consider investing in rental properties that cater to these travellers. If investing abroad is a step too far, then focus your attention locally, in the same country, or city, or nearby area with which you're comfortable. For example, you may live in Canada, and not too far from a location that offers skiing facilities popular with people from Canada and globally. Some lovely ski resorts cater almost half the year to people who love skiing and need a place to stay. You'll know from experience what these tenants expect from a rental property and the period of stay they typically need. Generational impact. Individuals in this category who are enjoying retired life need to keep an eye on their cash savings and guard against inflation erosion. By investing in rental properties, cash flow and capital appreciation in time might provide a better return than cash sitting in the bank at low interest rates. In addition to helping themselves, the cash flow from rental properties can assist their children and grandchildren if they so choose. This has the potential to benefit all generations, not only individuals in this category. Note, my parents, after observing my results, took it upon themselves and invested in rental properties and are now more successful than I am. I partially got into investing in property to help my parents grow a pension pot, but since they've been investing in property themselves, they no longer require my assistance. Knowing that they have more than one income stream gives them extra confidence in their financial footing. 5 secrets. Ever bought something and immediately regretted it? Most of us have. I once walked into a car showroom to have a look around at the latest car models. I had zero intention of buying anything. Within an hour, I'd purchased a car. The best part? I did no haggling, had no idea what the car's specifications were, bought a brand new car instead of a lightly used car or used car, even though I had been warned by many that brand new vehicles lose a lot of their value once you drive them off the showroom floor. It's been many years since that experience, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. That salesperson was fantastic. It burned a hole in my bank account for years, but that salesperson got the full commission, thanks to me. You might be wondering, what on earth does buying a car have to do with rental property investing? Notice how I made every mistake in the book. I did zero due diligence. I bought a product that lost value almost immediately. I didn't negotiate for a better deal, and I paid for my mistake for years to come. I've made similar mistakes in my real estate investing journey, where I've bought properties having done minimal due diligence, where I didn't negotiate for better terms or a better price. I paid over market value and saw my property's value drop an easy 20% or more when a downturn hit. I could go on, but you get the picture. Although there are many things to consider when it comes to investing in rental properties, I've found these 5 secrets to be the most critical in my real estate investing career so far. Power of networking. Network, network, network. There are many knowledgeable and experienced investors and individuals who serve the real estate investing industry, such as contractors or builders and mortgage brokers, to name a few. There are forums, be it online or in person, where you can chat with fellow investors and network with everyone. Listen up when experienced investors or tradespeople speak, and also share your experiences where appropriate. You might stumble across some folks that you really gel with, and before you know it, you're doing deals through joint ventures or partnering up in some capacity, after doing your due diligence, of course. Joint ventures can be very profitable for everyone involved. There's always someone who has something that you don't have. For example, you may be short on capital, but have expertise in rental property investing in a particular location. There will be investors who have lots of money, but have no time, interest, knowledge or experience about investing in real estate in the area that you're an expert in. Form win-win deals, which can be a source of never-ending capital. Snowball effect. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Albert Einstein. In the real estate world, instead of compound interest, think more and more rental properties. Imagine after a couple of months of buying your first rental property investment, the dust has settled and the property now cash flows like clockwork. Give it a little more time and you'll notice that the property value might appreciate slightly as well. You've been bitten by the cash flow and capital appreciation bug. Having had a small taste of the potential that awaits, your mind now turns to the future. You don't want just one investment property, you want many more. After all, if you can turn a profit with one rental property, why not expand on this and get a few more? It's only logical, as a Vulcan might say. Scaling up should be done cautiously, unemotionally, and above all, make sure you manage your risk, aka make sure your portfolio can handle the storms and bad weather that will happen from time to time. Here are some ideas on getting capital to scale up your rental property portfolio. Release equity from your home, rental property or rental properties. Reinvest the cash flow from rental property or properties. Joint venture or partner up with investors who can supply the capital. The snowball effect is real. Before you know it, you'll be investing in one new rental property a year, then 2 and 3 and so on. Growing your portfolio while providing good quality housing to great responsible tenants can be addictive. Debt. Friend or foe? It's fine until it's not. Keep a very close eye on the debt or loan you take on to fund any investment property purchases. What you'll usually hear is that debt is good when it comes to real estate investing. This is usually the case, provided you crunch the numbers correctly and your tenants actually pay the rent. But sometimes tenants don't pay rent. It's not great, but it does happen. If your tenants don't pay rent, you're still on the line for making the mortgage payments. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but the consequences of not paying back your loan aren't pretty. When it comes to debt, be sure to assess whether you can manage increases in the interest rate. In recent times, interest rates have been falling, but this doesn't mean interest rates can't increase in the future. This also depends on the mortgage terms and conditions that you sign up for which you'll have consulted with an experienced and qualified mortgage broker beforehand, right? Interest rates are constantly moving up or down, and just because we see a period of low interest rates does not guarantee rates won't go up in the future. This leads us to the next point. You absolutely 1000%, yes, 1000% need an emergency fund. Emergency. Ignore at your peril. Do cruise ships have lifeboats when there are no emergencies? You can't predict what you can't see coming. The nature of emergencies is that these occurrences catch you by surprise, and maybe at the worst possible time. An emergency fund should not be the same as your average cash available for regular lifestyle expenses or bills that you pay. You need an emergency fund specific to your real estate portfolio to weather the economic storms that might hit. Below is a list of some examples to consider as to why you need an emergency fund. Tenants don't pay rent. Increasing the interest rate on your mortgage or loan. Damage to your property that you need to fix. Market downturn or recession. Change in market conditions at property locations. Although it's impossible to plan for every potential risk, it's far better to have an emergency fund ready to access if something happens instead of not having an emergency fund when things go wrong. As Benjamin Franklin once said, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Listen to Ben. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to risk planning. In fact, part of your planning should include the concept of diversification. What happens if most of the real estate industry gets hit with devastating government rules or tax laws? Unless you're in the government, you'll be in the same basket as many investors and find yourself stuck in an unpleasant situation. Responsible investors know that it's important to diversify their income streams and investments. Diversify for success. I want all my eggs in one basket, said no one ever. The subject of diversification is very close to my heart and probably isn't discussed as much as it should be, especially in the real estate universe. The proverb, don't put all your eggs in one basket, sums up the importance of diversification nicely. As a savvy investor, you need to know that relying solely on cash flow and capital appreciation from rental properties isn't a great idea, especially if your portfolio is small and not diversified. I like to use a four-legged chair analogy where each leg of the chair represents one income stream. With 2 or fewer legs, you'll struggle to sit on the chair. Naturally, The more legs, the better. Diversification should offer you more protection, not less, and intricately links with the concept of risk. Here's a list of some things to consider when it comes to diversification, both within the real estate universe and beyond. Different real estate investment strategies. Different real estate locations. Running a business or businesses that are unrelated to real estate. Investing in the stock market as a means to invest in companies, industries and sectors unrelated to real estate. My personal favourite is the last one. I invest in the stock market. This is because 1. It allows me to invest in profitable, well-run, cash-flowing businesses. 2. It allows me to invest in companies that are in industries or sectors completely unrelated to real estate investing. And 3. The capital required may be smaller compared to investing in real estate. Diversification is there for us to take advantage of. When one asset class disappoints, other asset classes should pick up the slack or excel, resulting in an overall profitable and wealth-enhancing position over time. Rental property investing is very lucrative and passive, but it's essential to recognise that putting all your eggs in this basket comes with its own risks. Consider diversifying your portfolio to include other assets and businesses that generate cash flow and grow in value over time. Create your future. It's never too early or too late to get started with rental property investing. The best time is always now, not later. In this short book, I've demonstrated how anyone can use their experience at any age to begin their journey. Amongst the sea of things to contemplate as part of your due diligence and research, I'm confident that the 5 secrets will serve you well. Play your cards right, and every generation in your family can benefit from your leap of faith with real estate investing. Success is yours for the taking. Carpe diem. Andy. Do me the honour. Now that you've come to the end of the book, it would mean the world to me if you left an honest review or rating of this book. Did anything in this book resonate with you? Was there anything in particular that you think should have been mentioned? Your honest review or rating will improve the quality of future publications and reader experience. Do me the honour and provide your honest review or rating on the platform where you obtained this book. About the author. Andy Wen is an author and investor, investing in both real estate and the stock market. Andy believes in crafting wealth from diverse sources and in never being dependent on one source of income. He aims to keep investing super simple and preaches straightforward but effective investment strategies. When Andy isn't researching potential investment opportunities, he spends time with his wife and attempts to teach his cat, Twinkle, tricks that might make them both famous one day. Don't forget to follow, not stalk, Andy at YouTube, moneytalkswithandy.com/YouTube, Facebook, moneytalkswithandy.com/Facebook, website, moneytalkswithandy.com. Acknowledgements. We've all had challenges to overcome during the global pandemic, going in and out of lockdowns with much uncertainty. I am very thankful for the motivation, support and interactions that I've been blessed to receive over the many months during this book's production. A big thank you to Dale L. Roberts, Ava Fales, Michael Murray, Laurie Rea, and everyone in the Massive Action Plan Mastermind group. Special thanks to Kristen Dunn and Judith Lundin for keeping me on track and providing invaluable feedback. Robert Lee, N, Sylvie, David and Piera, your support has kept me going when the going was tough. Special mention to Katie Lai and Dave So of the Entrepreneurial Group. The meetups and war stories have been fun and motivational. I must thank my parents and Mandy for their support and patience as they watch my frivolous pursuits in my attempt to do right in life. Most of all, I want to thank you. Yes, you, the listener. I hope you got some value and information to move forward with your investment goals. Now get out there, start doing your research and due diligence, and start crushing those investment goals. This has been Start from Strength, 5 Secrets to Building Generational Wealth with Real Estate Investing, Written by Andy Wen. Narrated by Paul Metcalf. Copyright 2021 by Andy Wen. Production copyright by Andy Wen.